Thank you for calling Late Night Taco Delivery. If you are calling to place an order, unfortunately the store is closed due to the fact that we are about to record a podcast. We'll be closed for another half an hour-ish. If you're calling to listen to the show, congratulations, you are just in time. So kick back, relax, and enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to Late Night Taco Delivery!
Late Night Taco Delivery!
Yay! I am your host, Daniel Gill.
And I'm Jonathan Knoll, and tonight we are joined by a very special friend of ours, Mr. Tim Leifheit.
Hi, everybody! Hi, Mom!
Hi, Tim, how are you?
Doing good, man. I'll get into that in a moment.
Oh dear, okay.
I assure you, you will find out in today's edition of Geek News.
Okay.
Yeah, so how are you doing today?
Not too bad. I've been really just kind of bleh the last couple days. So I'm off tomorrow. I got home. I was like, do I want to spend the entire evening on my computer doing a whole lot of nothing, or do I want to actually accomplish something? So I moved everything in my house.
Jesus.
The only thing left to do is move my bed into my new room, one that actually has ventilation. Mm-hmm. And so the new computer is in my new room, and I've already got Captain America hanging up. I got to get my Star Wars hanging up at some point. And beyond that, just surviving, man.
Sweet.
Been a very, very busy couple of days because of Labor Day at work.
Yeah. Makes sense. Over here on the Knoll side, we had a movie viewing party today.
Yeah, you told me about that earlier today.
Yeah, we had Tim over, we had my friend Adam, and we had friend of the network, Dustin, over.
Very cool.
And we watched The Royal Tannenbaums.
It was actually my first introduction to Wes Anderson, so it was interesting.
I'm going to confess I've never seen a Wes Anderson movie as far as I know.
I can fix that.
I'm pretty sure you could.
But yeah, it's...
We also watched another movie, but we'll get into that during our Geek News.
Okay.
But yeah, anything that you're geeking out about right now?
Not really. I decided to start rereading Harry Potter again.
I really want to do that too. My sister's actually reading it at the moment. Mm-hmm. All my copies, actually, because she's never read them ever. Yeah. And she's a readaholic. I mean, like every other day when I'm at home, she's usually hiding in the living room with a book or nose buried in a book.
Yeah, sounds like something I do normally.
Yep, but she's never actually read all through Harry Potter. I think she's now on book 5. So she's getting there. But, looking through it, and I'm like, oh, where are you, Maria? Where are you? And looking back in the books, I'm like, I really should reread these.
There's a lot you pick up on a second or third reading.
I know, right? Well, it'd probably be my, 4th or 5th reading at this point.
Well, I just remember my first exposure to Harry Potter was back in 2000 when everybody was going gaga for Harry Potter.
Right.
My parents were telling me I had to read Harry Potter. My sister was telling me I had to read Harry Potter. My girlfriend at the time was telling me I had to read Harry Potter. I'm like, I don't want to read a kid's book. It's from Scholastic, for God's sakes. I used to get the catalogs when I was in 4th grade of Scholastic. They would print shit like the Dune movie book, okay? It was not exactly high-quality literature.
Yeah.
But finally, I was having lunch with them one day on a Sunday, and as I'm walking out, my mother, the crack dealer, shoves a copy of Sorcerer's Stone in my hand and says, just try it. Just give it a shot. Read the first couple chapters. I'm like, fine. So I went home. It was, I was off that day, so I figured, what the hell? I sat down on the couch, and I started reading. By 6 o'clock that night, I was back at their place going, do you have any more? And I just devoured the first 4 books in, like, a week. And nice. Since then, it's been the same deal. I mean, I start reading a Harry Potter book. I can't put it down.
Nice.
So, anyway.
I picked up all of the Coen Brothers movies today.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'll be watching those, and I'll finally be able to return the sets that I've been borrowing from a friend of ours.
I think you'll really enjoy Miller's Crossing.
I did enjoy Miller's Crossing. It was really, really good.
Excellent.
They
Okay.
did that? Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Have a heart. Who says I had a
I have a
heart?
heart.
Gabriel Byrne is just the epitome of cool in that movie.
So, geek news.
Geek news.
We were complaining last week that we didn't have a lot of geek news.
There's a lot now.
Well, that sure turned around.
I've got some, but not as huge. Apparently, you've got a lot more than I do.
We have 21 stories.
Yeah, you got more than I do. But I'm reserving the right for all the Ready Player One stories this week. So yeah,
That's fine.
But just so you know, John, before you start diving in, I think we should save the big news for last, if you know what I mean.
You mean the shit that should not be?
Oh, yes.
Because, dear God, do we have a monster of a shit that should not be.
I'm a little terrified. You were going off about this morning.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a moment.
All right. So on the first geek news here, we have a new standard 3DS coming out, right?
Okay.
And they're making new bundles for it, including Animal Crossing and a Hyrule edition.
Ah,
So that's pretty neat.
that is nifty for those of you that like the 3DS.
No, I don't game a lot, but it's something that's exciting still.
Okay, that's cool.
It looks like it's special skins and it's for the 3DS XL.
cool. Awesome. Speaking of video games,
Go for it.
20th Century Fox developing a Mega Man movie.
I heard about this.
Yeah, the basic.
Oh, boy.
20th Century Fox and Chernin Entertainment are currently developing a Mega Man film based on the popular video game franchise that came straight out of Japan and landed on our Nintendo and Game Boy video game systems in the 80s and 90s. And they basically goes on and tells what the story is. And if they do not have the Proto Men doing the soundtrack, I will be very annoyed.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm already annoyed.
Because the Proto Men write dystopian rock operas about Mega Man. And they have actually been Capcom has actually had them at events playing their music. So Capcom is in full knowledge of what Proto Men do.
Makes sense.
Hell, they should just base them around those stories. Be depressing as hell, but be worth it.
Right.
Alrighty.
Still staying in the vein of video games.
Alright.
So, for $500, Xbox One Elite comes with a 1 terabyte drive and a special customizable controller.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
So, console wars are still going.
Yep. For $100, I can get a 3 terabyte drive for my PC that I built myself for much less than $500.
Ooh, fancy you.
Yes.
Alright.
Let's see here. Okay, this is not a shit that should not be, but it's one of those I'm not quite happy about it.
Okay.
The Doctor and River Song reunite for a spectacular Christmas.
Oh yeah, I heard about this.
Alex Ginton returns to Cardiff to reclaim her role as Professor River Song for the highly anticipated 2015 Doctor Who Christmas special, part of the BBC One's essential seasonal viewing. For those who don't know, River Song was introduced during David Tennant's career as Doctor Who,
Right.
and we saw the end of her story. And then as Matt Smith became the Doctor, we started seeing the beginning of her story. And then we
Right.
saw the end of her story again. Her storyline has played out
Twice.
We don't need to have River Song come back again. I mean, I know she's a fan favorite, and she is a lot of fun. When I first saw her, she annoyed the shit out of me. Because she was so full of herself and calling the Doctor sweetie. But as the show progressed, and Stephen Moffat is a very good storyteller, and he obviously feels the same way about River Song that Russell T Davies felt about Rose.
Yeah.
But her stories are done. She doesn't need to meet the new Doctor.
Honestly, I kind of stopped watching Doctor Who after he regenerated into Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, I did the same, unfortunately.
So, I couldn't say anything about the atmosphere at this point. I'd have to catch up.
I really can't say much at all because the only Doctor Who exposure that I got was the 10th Doctor. Yeah, it was the 10th Doctor, so Tennant, and the 9th one before him. That was about it, but that's mostly because my sister is a Tennant fanboy.
Okay. Well,
Or fangirl, rather.
Well, we've talked about Doctor Who on the show in the past, and some of my fondest memories are spent with my father Friday nights in the 80s watching Doctor Who, especially Tom Baker and Peter Davison. And I was very excited when the show came back, and I've enjoyed it as it went on. But Capaldi just never really grabbed me. I mean, I've got the episodes, and I can watch them for this past season, and I just haven't felt the need like I did with Matt Smith and David Tennant.
Well, Capaldi is kind of a return to the really, really classic Doctors, like William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton.
The originals.
Yeah. So, I can kind of see why they're going with this, but at the same time,
Yeah.
I kind of lost the spirit.
Yeah. Oh, well. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, so, Mark Wahlberg.
I'm a little terrified. Go ahead.
Actually, in this case, it's kind of a, okay, whatever.
Which superhero is he going to play?
He's not.
Oh, thank God.
Unless his superpower is ending hunger.
Wait, what?
At reasonable prices. The Wahlberg family is starting a burger chain.
Wahlburger?
Called... Exactly, Wahlburgers.
I knew this because there's a reality show based on it.
Yep. There's going to be a chain opening in Farmingdale, New York, I think.
Okay.
Bob's Burgers meet Mark's Burgers.
Not bad for a guy who nearly beat an Asian man to death.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading an article about things beloved celebrities don't want you to remember. And that was one of them.
Next up.
Oh, yeah. You want to say this one? Because, dude.
I'm just reading this for the first time here. Andrew Garfield just gave an interview where he said, and I quote, "I was never Spider-Man."
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the full quote. Well, nothing, because I was never Spider-Man. Because Spider-Man's a fictional character. He's not real. Laughs. You know what? You know what's funny? To give you the vulnerable answer, I thought I was going to be Spider-Man, you know? I went into it going, ego shit came in. It's like, okay, here it is, I'm fucking Spider-Man. I fucking made it. It's all that shit. Laughs. I didn't actually make it. I was never Spider-Man.
Sounds a bit like sour grapes to me.
Yeah.
Well, Andrew Garfield, I hear, is kind of like a dick in real life.
I never saw either of the Amazing Spider-Man movies.
Neither did I, but still, it's kind of a...
I actually did. And speaking from that experience, the first one, actually both of them, again, they have some really good things in it, but they also have things that I want to literally stand up and throw popcorn at the screen at. So I'm split, because I really wish I just had like half the movie to watch, just so I can enjoy these moments, rather than the movie itself. And that's kind of sad.
Sounds a bit like me and Stanley Kubrick with the Full Metal Jacket.
It's like saying, well, the meat on this sandwich is absolutely
sucked.
terrible, but the bread, out of this world. And we have to pay to order the entire sandwich and then take all the innards out just so you can taste the bread. I know that's a really, really bizarre thing, but...
It makes sense.
Yeah, well, I've had a dose of bizarre, but again, we're getting to that later. I know we're building this up a lot, but I assure you, it's worth it. Moving on.
Moving on from Spider-Man.
Yes.
Okay.
It's your turn this time.
It's my turn. Artemis Fowl secures movie director.
Ooh, sweet.
You're gonna like the name I say.
Uh-oh. Kenneth
Branagh.
Really? Kenneth Branagh?
Yep, he's looking at doing Artemis Fowl. Deep breaths, everyone. Compose yourselves. After over a decade in development, false starts, disputes, and any number of other delays, it looked like it might be happening. According to variety sources, Kenneth Branagh, that's Sir Kenneth Branagh, to you and me, has signed on to develop and direct Disney's movie adaptation of Artemis Fowl. Irish playwright Conor McPherson is in talks to pen the script. I've never read the books, but apparently they're really good.
Yeah, I keep hearing really good things about them, but again, I've never read them either.
So, have either of you seen the new Cinderella movie that he did?
Kenneth Branagh?
Yeah, he did. He actually directed a new live-action version of Cinderella this year.
Yeah, that was one of the Disney remakes we were shitting on.
Oh god.
So it wasn't good. Did you see it?
No. We just it seemed like every podcast we did that Disney was announcing another live action remake of one of their classic cartoons.
Yeah.
And we were getting sick of it.
Believe me, I am too. But then again, I was really curious to see what Ken, the Shakespeare man, could have done with it.
Okay.
So, I still kind of want to check it out at one point or another, because I actually heard it's pretty good.
Mm.
And meanwhile, he'll just keep killing Claudius with a chandelier.
Yeah. I will just say one more time. I want my live-action, big budget version of A Great Mouse Detective. That's all I want.
Dude. Or how about The Rescuers?
Ooh. No. Great Mouse Detective. Specifically so we can get Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman to do the voices.
Okay, so the official Facebook Star Wars page did something awesome this week, last weekend.
Okay.
Star Wars shuts down sexist attitude towards female armor on Facebook.
I saw that. I loved it.
Yes. So this jackass by the name of Paul Cody on Facebook says, "Not to be sexist, but it's really hard to tell if that's female armor for me," referring directly to the Captain Phasma armor.
Mm-hmm.
To which Star Wars said, "It's armor. On a woman. It doesn't have to look feminine."
Now, here's another great thing about it. Cody Paul got 5 likes on his comment. Star Wars Reply got 305 likes.
Yeah. They ended up deleting it, which I thought was funny.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Oh,
go ahead.
and just a friendly reminder, boob plate armor would actually kill you.
Yes.
So,
Yes, actually. This is something that, having been in the Society for Creative Anachronism for many years, it doesn't work. Because basically you take a hit between the tits, and it basically smacks you straight in the in your breastbone, and it hurts a lot. It can actually make your heart stop. That's why women that fight, they bind, they squish down their boobs.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the few times I say, do not release the boobs.
Yes. One of the very few times.
Yes.
You can't have those femme troopers that you see at cons.
No.
I'm pretty sure that's the impression the guy was thinking of.
Probably.
And you know what? Screw you, sir. It's Star Wars. Leave it alone.
I have just been... I'm trying so hard not to get too hyped. I'm really trying. It's not
You're
happening.
failing, aren't you?
Oh, my God. I'm just like... I'm reading up on... I was reading up, who the characters are. Actually, one of the things I really noticed that I thought was interesting is that there's only like one... Except for the original 3, the other characters are all multinational, people of color. Or women, which I think I'm okay with this,
Yeah.
Totally.
They've given us something different. Yay! And they're not doing look, we cast a black guy, look, we cast a woman, look, we cast a Guatemalan. No, it's more along
that's the thing. I read in interviews, they're like, yeah, Finn, played by John Boyega, they're like, we didn't write him as black. We just kind of went through the auditions, and John Boyega was the guy for the job. It just so happens that he has black skin.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm great. I'm very cool with this.
Yeah, and plus I hear he's like an awesome dude in real life. I saw him at the Star Wars Celebration. Dude, I want to meet this guy and give him like a brother high five.
He gets it, man.
Oh my God, yes. And you know what? I would totally be fine if he winds up being the next Black Panther. Because he's been campaigning for that because he's a huge Marvel comic fan.
I'm pretty sure they've already cast that part.
Yeah, they have already cast him.
Oh, they did? Oh,
yeah, because he's going to be appearing in this Captain America Civil War.
Yep.
Sweet.
Meanwhile, back in video games,
Okay.
Halo 5 Guardians has a new opening that dropped.
Okay.
And it has a character who looks stunningly like Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm seeing nothing wrong with this.
But yeah, apparently it's very cinematic and very neat looking. You play as Master Chief and Spartan Locke as the hunt plays out across 3 new worlds.
Hey!
Again, never played Halo, so I'm just putting it in there because geek news.
Right. All right, let's see here. This one kind of caught me off guard.
Okay.
People actually upset that Kermit the Frog's new girlfriend is thin.
Huh?
Kermit the Frog has announced that despite yesterday's rumors, a pig puppet named Denise is not actually his new girlfriend. Unfortunately, his announcement didn't come soon enough. People had already started freaking out about how sick and anti-feminist it was that Denise was thinner and younger than his ex, Miss Piggy.
Okay, first off,
They're fucking felt.
why is this even a thing? I mean, look, I know Jim Henson is dead, and his spirit has yet to be recaptured by the Muppets again.
Mm-hmm.
At least in the full way that we all remember. But if you're really going to pull off stunts like having Miss Piggy and Kermit break up and get back together again and have, like, pretty much the Muppet version of the Kardashians going on, this is a sad day for the Muppets. I'm pretty sure Jim Henson is rolling in his grave right now.
And it says that Miss Piggy is a beloved feminist icon and a representation of the audience of the 80s, one filled with fear of powerful women who understand and supported men's urge to date their exes' younger, dumber plasticine lookalikes. So, after all, this is a very, very serious problem about puppets.
Yeah.
Okay, can we move on, please,
Yeah.
before because I really...
Because they're fucking felt!
They have hands up their butts, okay?
Michael Fassbender.
Yay!
Yes.
He's in Macbeth. And a new trailer dropped, and it's really, really cool.
Ooh. I need to finish watching that, by the way. The BBC a couple years ago did something called The Hollow Crown, which was Richard III, Henry IV Part 1, and Henry IV Part 2. And it starred Jeremy Irons and Tom Hiddleston, and it looked awesome. This was
But
actually...
yeah. Michael Fassbender is going to be Macbeth, and it's really cool.
Nice.
Cool.
He's a good actor. And it's one of those marks when you do your own put your own twist on Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah. Plus, I'm really liking the crown design.
Okay.
Very Scottish.
Very Scottish. Speaking of movie news, and this is actually something you were very happy about as well.
Go for it.
I really hope I don't butcher his name because he deserves so much better than me. Toshiro Mifune to get a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yay!
Yeah. Actor Toshiro Mifune will be honored with a star bearing his name on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. A veteran of 16 films directed by Akira Kurosawa, as well as many other Japanese and international classics, Mifune is probably the best-known Japanese actor of all time and should therefore need new introductions. I remember
Good for him, man.
I've seen him in Tora Tora Tora, Yojimbo, Seven Samurai, a couple other just amazing... He was even in 1941, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you might be right on that one.
Yeah, because he played the Japanese commander.
He was also in a movie called Throne of Blood, which, funny enough, actually connects to the previous story there, because that is literally a Japanese telling of Macbeth.
I thought it was that was King Lear.
No, it's Macbeth.
Okay, because I know that one of Akira Kurosawa's last movies was a Japanese retelling of King Lear.
Yeah, Throne of Blood was not one of the last movies.
Ah, okay, never mind then.
Yeah, 3 of them are based on Shakespeare's.
Gotcha.
So, on behalf of Toshiro Mifune's estate, congratulations. This is a long overdue honor.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this man needs to be there a lot more than some people that are in Walk of Fame.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh my god, right. Moving on.
Yeah, so, I don't know if you like this artist, but I do.
Okay.
Susie Sue has come back.
Susie Sue.
You remember a little group called Susie and the Banshees?
Oh yeah. They're really big
Yeah.
in the '80s. One of the biggest goth influences.
Yes. Well, Susie's back,
Nice.
and she sang the finale song for Hannibal.
Ooh.
It's called Love Crime.
Sad thing about Hannibal.
Yeah.
I was
But, yeah.
really looking forward to the finish of that. So yeah, good for her coming back.
I am excited.
Yeah. Let's see here. Speaking of things coming back,
Okay.
Amazon is resurrecting The Tick with Patrick Warburton for a new pilot.
Oh my god.
In 2002, Fox canceled superhero television show The Tick after just 8 episodes. Now, over the decade later, Amazon Studios is giving the show a second chance. Patrick Warburton has made a deal with rights holders Sony Television to produce a pilot for a rebooted version of The Tick.
Wait, a reboot? I just thought they were releasing the old series again.
No, it's good. There's a new pilot.
Oh, what? Wait, what?
Yeah.
No, man, dude, come on. Where's the originality here?
Where's
Look,
a reboot
I mean,
of Firefly?
I'm a big fan of The Tick. I was, but God, guys, I mean, stop investing in crap that people will flock to. Take a risk. I'm sick of this, man.
Welcome to our world.
We do this shit every week.
Every week we find out a remake or a reboot of an old product, and we're like, really?
Speaking of remakes,
Oh no.
so you remember how the CW has that Flash series that's really, really awesome?
Yeah.
We have an official Reverse Flash,
Okay.
and now we have a Professor Zoom.
Ooh.
Horror icon Tony Todd has been cast as the voice of Zoom
Dude.
in season 2.
That is made of awesome. Very good to hear that.
So yeah, The Flash is actually a really good series. I wish I had more time to watch it.
Yeah, same
Same here. I just don't. I don't have time to watch TV anymore. I'm doing all this crazy stuff with you guys.
Yay! I do have some sad news.
Oh no.
We have a Hollywood stiff.
Oh no, not a Hollywood stiff.
Yep. Dean Jones, the Love Bug star, dies at 84.
Oh, lass.
Dean Jones, best known for his acting work in such Disney films as The Love Bug and That Darn Cat, died of Parkinson's disease Tuesday in Los Angeles. He was 1984. He was 84. He did star in a lot of the Disney movies from the 60s and 70s, and he was the original driver of Herbie the Love Bug. And I remember there was a 97, I think, they did a Disney Wonderful World of Disney movie for television. And it was a remake. It was not even a reboot. It was just a continuation of the original Love Bug series,
Right.
starring Bruce Campbell. And Bruce ended up becoming the new driver for Herbie. And near the end, Dean Jones showed up and basically said, "Yeah, I'm an old friend of Herbie." And it was just a nice little callback, you know.
That's fair. That's fair.
But he was just one of those just very nice guys. And big bucket of win, sir. Godspeed to you.
You'll be missed.
You will be missed.
Tatiana Maslany and others are reportedly shortlisted for the Star Wars Episode 9 female lead.
Man, we haven't even got Episode 7 released yet, and they've already got 5 movies planned.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just going to focus on the one for now.
Yeah.
Although Rogue One is definitely on my radar.
Oh,
big
I'm
time.
That's on your
Rogue
radar,
One.
the Boba Fett movie, Han Solo, and Episode 8 and 9.
You know, but okay, I know this sounds really bizarre coming from like the biggest Star Wars geek you've met this side of the Midwest, but I'm still not completely psyched for a Boba Fett movie yet. Just because, I mean, granted, he's one of the great characters from the series that, everyone talks about, especially us fanboys, but, I just haven't seen enough yet to really convince me that, wow, I can't wait to go to see the Boba Fett movie yet. Because you got to have a story for me to back up a movie no matter what.
Yeah.
And there's no concept yet, so
Just kinda
I'll
reminds-
wait, but, so, not excited for a Boba Fett movie yet. I'm just going to have these 2 movies on my radar for now.
You sound a bit like Patton Oswalt when he's talking about how he wants to go back in time and murder George Lucas with a shovel.
Sounds about right.
He's like, "Hey, do you like Boba Fett?" "Yeah, I thought he was cool and mysterious and such." "Yeah, we meet him in Episode 2 and he's a kid and he's sad." "Quit taking things I like and ruining them." It's like, do you like Angelina Jolie? Well, here you go. Here's John Voight's sweaty ballsack. That's where she came from.
And also in the Star Wars news, Star Wars Battlefront Beta arrives earlier than expected.
Ooh.
Yes, it wasn't officially set to be released until November 17th, but the beta has been launched.
Nice. Well, from what I saw, it looked pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm still...
I don't really play Battlefront, but I'm excited.
I am a hardcore Battlefront player, I can kill you even when I'm dead. Not gonna lie. That's no exaggeration either. I can. But from what I've seen, it looks amazing. It looks a little too distant from the original concept that I really fell in love with in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest shtick that I have with the new one is the fact that they took Clone Wars away. I know that they, are trying to stick with the original trilogy and try to erase the stain of the prequels, but you know what? The prequels were fun to run around in as a clone trooper or a droid. I mean, the droidicas were badass to play as.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and plus, I will admit, the Clone Wars have been a lot more intense than the the Galactic Civil Wars led on.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, kind of sad to see that go. I really wanted more, but then again, if I really can control the Millennium Falcon into battle or the Slave One, yeah, you kind of got my money.
I would love to have them go back and do remakes of X-Wing, TIE Fighter, and X-Wing Alliance. Because those were just such good games, and they really would do well with complete graphics upgrades. And I think it would actually bring back the flight simulator as a viable genre for games.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
absolutely.
Okay, speaking of Star Wars, I got one quick thing.
Go for it.
You won't hear John Williams' Star Wars The Force Awakens score until the movie is released.
Aww.
A basic press release from Walt Disney Pictures went out today announcing that the Star Wars The Force Awakens score will not be available for purchase until the movie is in theaters this holiday season. It's actually
at least we'll look at the track names.
Yeah, and for all the prequels, the score for each film was available a couple weeks before the movies hit theaters. However, when you consider the fact that the soundtrack for the release of Star Wars: The Phantom Menace had a track called Qui-Gon's Noble End,
yeah,
we're not surprised.
This is actually a really good move. This is a really good move.
Yeah, we're not surprised that Disney or Lucasfilm wants to hold the soundtrack back until the movie is seen on the big screen. So, it's a little bit that's been released with the Instagram footage tease and the stuff in the trailer, but that's about it. And by the way, I watched the second trailer.
Mm-hmm.
They have Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, the one he lost in Bespin. Oh my god!
You finally saw the second trailer?
Yes. I didn't even know it existed.
Dude, are you kidding me? When that thing hit the... I mean, I will never forget the day that thing hit the internet, dude. I mean, I was supposed to study for an exam, and I'm like, right on, I'm going to spend all weekend studying, and it dropped, and everything stopped. I didn't get any work done that weekend just because I had that trailer playing over and over and over again. And in my opinion, right now, it is the greatest trailer I've ever seen in my life. And considering all of the trailers that I've seen, and I've seen a lot, this one takes the cake because I really can't think of a trailer that has generated this much amount of hype and gotten this many people excited at this rate. Never in history. Not for The Dark Knight Rises or for the original Dark Knight. I haven't seen it for any of the new remakes. Nothing has compared to this yet, in my opinion. I mean, it's just huge. Unbelievably huge. I mean, do you remember how many reaction videos hit the internet that day?
Oh, yeah.
It exploded, man!
Meanwhile, in Marvel Land...
Marvel Land.
So, you know how you finished Daredevil recently? I still have to do that.
Yeah.
And how you said, give me some Luke Cage.
Yes.
Give me some Jessica Jones. Well, we have some new casting info for Luke Cage.
Oh?
Sons of Anarchy star Theo Rossi is going to be in this, as well as Rosario Dawson from Daredevil.
Cool.
I had heard that she was going to be. She's basically playing a character who's very similar to Night Nurse.
She is Night Nurse.
Yes.
So, yeah.
For those who don't know, Night Nurse is a character in the Marvel Universe who basically helps patch up all the street-level superheroes.
But, yeah. I don't think we actually have a name for the character yet, but he's going to be a series regular.
Nice.
So, yeah, there you go.
All right.
Be pretty cool if he was like Bullseye or something.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Here's one for you, Jonathan.
Go for it.
Arrow Films announces Blu-ray release of Zardoz.
Yes! Tell me more.
Well, unfortunately, it's going to be released in Region B for Blu-ray. So you have to get a Region Free player. But it's going to be a new 4K digital restoration by 20th Century Fox. Audio commentary with writer-producer John Borman.
Nice.
Brand new interviews with Borman, actor Sarah Kestelman, production designer Anthony Pratt, special effects design creator Gary Johnston, hairstylist Colin Jemison. The only person they don't have is good old Sean Connery.
Sean? Oh, God.
Theatrical trailer, radio spots, and new commissioned artwork.
Are they going to have the guy with the vulva drawn on his chin?
The what in this chin?
There is a guy who plays a prominent role in that film who has a vulva drawn on his chin.
I have no idea. It doesn't say.
Damn. Oh, well.
Anyway.
How many stories do you have left?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Oop. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2 shits that should not be.
Okay. I got one kind of shit that should not be.
Okay.
And you guys are more kids in the 90s, so this might be much worse for you than it is for me.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we just go back to the 90s with something that makes me happy?
Go for it.
90s classic Surge has returned to store shelves.
Sweet.
Yep, Surge was a Mountain Dew competitor, and it was produced from 1996 till 2003. And believe me, when that came out in 1996, I pretty much lived on that shit during college.
I think I actually know what you're talking about. I might have seen it before.
Yeah, and then in 2014, Coca-Cola released limited editions of Surge through Amazon.com, and apparently it was a huge hit. So now they're actually releasing it into stores again.
Wow.
So I'm looking forward to getting myself some Surge, throwing it in a couple of Kevin Smith movies, and just enjoying and going back in time for a while.
Do it. Nostalgia is being so overwanked these days, right?
Well,
we're not just seeing it in the movies. Now we're seeing it in our convenience stores.
Yes, we are.
Not even supposed to be here today.
Well, I think it's because the 90s kids are now hitting the college age, and where they're starting to have their own families. The 80s kids have their families, and the 70s kids already had their nostalgia. So 80s and 90s are the big thing right now.
Well, here's something that's mostly original here.
Okay.
Bat Metal returns.
Yeah, I watched that.
So did I.
Oh my god.
Animator RBES has returned with a second Bat Metal mashup video using Batman and his family as death metal rockers with music by Metalocalypse. And it is hilarious.
He kills Little Mermaid with a rock.
And Little Mermaid tortures Aquaman.
He's Aquaman. He deserves it.
Hey. He owns 70% of the planet, sir.
He spread himself too thin, man.
Plus, Jason Momoa can kick your ass.
Well, yeah.
But yeah, so there's that, and it was awesome, and I had to talk about it.
Right. All right. Let's see here. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about Ready Player One.
Go for it, sir.
Ready Player One, Elle Fanning, and more up for female lead.
Ooh.
We're writing a cast. Currently, the three people that are involved to be playing Artemis, pardon me, are Elle Fanning, who is best known for Maleficent and the Box Trolls.
Cool.
And I think she was also in 8mm by J.J. Abrams.
Super 8.
Yeah,
Super 8, yeah.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, 8mm was that atrocious Nicolas Cage film.
Yeah.
Sorry. Olivia Cook is known for the Sundance crowd pleaser Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, as well as a regular on A&E's Bat Bates Motel, and Lola Kirk, who doesn't have anything listed here.
Maybe she's new.
Yeah. And the other possibility is they heard that Nick Robinson, late of Jurassic World, is up for the part of Wade Watts, a.k.a. Parzival.
Cool.
So, that, we got 2 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to start flying here after Spielberg finishes up Bridge of Spies and the BFG. So I'm really hoping, and like we said before, he's still trying to get Gene Wilder to be the old James Holliday. I'm still not sure how I feel about that, but I'm willing to go with it.
I think it'll do well.
Yeah.
And besides, it'd be a really nice send-off.
Mm.
Yeah.
Back in Marvel Land, Mark Ruffalo says that Hulk won't appear in Captain America: Civil War.
Aw.
Well, that's totally fine. I mean, technically speaking, Hulk wasn't part of that storyline. I mean, Hulkling did play a role, but yeah, we haven't gotten that far down the pike yet.
Yeah.
So, not a big deal. We got enough Marvel characters at this point to shake, 50 sticks at.
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, there are other stories that need to be told with Hulk anyway.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Marvel...
Go for it.
Captain America: Civil War is not about superhero registration.
What?
Say what? Dude, that's like the whole point.
Actually, what they're replacing with makes a lot of sense.
What? Oh, I'm curious now.
Okay. Something called the Sokovia Accords.
Okay.
It's basically, instead of having to do a superhero registration, you've got the Avengers, who are basically operating outside of any country, going in and just causing all this trouble. I mean, basically the second movie was about Tony Stark fucking things up.
Right.
By creating Ultron. And it breaks down to the Sokovia Accords are who watches the Watchmen.
Makes sense.
Basically, the government begins to ask questions about who's responsible for civilian casualties and destruction caused from a battle involving the Avengers. Should someone be in charge of telling the Avengers when they can and cannot get involved in some kind of conflict? And Tony Stark has a belief, has a responsibility to the world, despite the fact he's been rather reckless in the past. And Steve Rogers has been betrayed by S.H.I.E.L.D., an organization who used him as a hero, but turned out to be a front for Hydra. So it's basically come down to between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers having a very, very deep rift in how they both approach problems.
Makes sense.
So I like it. I think it's cool.
We'll see how it plays out, but I always thought that was probably one of the strongest topical Marvel stories of pretty much the last decade.
Well, I did see an article earlier that it looks like Crossbones from The Winter Soldier.
He's coming back?
He's coming back, but he's also going to be responsible for what sets up this whole thing.
Oh, cool.
Interesting.
Instead of the New Warriors blowing up a busload of children, it's Crossbones doing this instead.
Wow.
Ooh, this is good. I wonder if he's in cahoots with anyone else.
Well, I guess we're going to find out.
Yay.
So, yeah, I mean, instead of superhero registration, we have this, and I kind of like the idea. I like the idea of, the United Nations saying, you can't do this, and Tony Stark saying, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'll see what I think, because, again, that was probably one of the stronger ideas for a Marvel story that I've seen for, the last decade. I mean, it's so for someone who is so ingrained into that story, it's really odd because it's the the whole it's not like the book thing. But you know what? I'm just gonna wait till the trailer comes out and I'll see how I feel by then, because usually trailers will give you a pretty good vibe of whether it's going to be pretty good or not.
One of my main problems is that the Civil War was written by Mark Millar, and I don't like him. I think a
lot of people don't.
I think he hates superheroes. He's like Frank Miller. He just does not like superheroes. That's why he created.
Maybe it's just people with the name Miller.
Yeah, he created Kick-Ass, and he created shit.
Kingsman.
Not Kingsman.
Yeah, he did do Kingsman though.
He did do Kingsman, but he also did this one shit. They made a movie out of it. Wanted.
Oh yeah.
He made Wanted, and he's very he's one of those writers. Unfortunately, he's in my opinion he confuses crassness with storytelling. Because like Alan Moore can be incredibly crass, but he tends to be on point.
Yeah.
And so can Garth Ennis. No, Warren Ellis. I'm sorry, Warren Ellis, who did The Preacher and The Boys and a couple other things. But Garth Ennis and Mark Miller both they just do shit because they can, not because it tells a great story.
Well, not saying that I disagree with you, but I still really love what he's done for Superman.
What he did with what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? That was amazing.
He also wrote a script treatment for a 3-part Superman epic.
Huh.
Yeah, it turns out that he it was very Godfather-esque, where it chronicled Superman's early days on Krypton, and all the way to when Earth has become a barren wasteland, and essentially he dies alone under the red sun, which is our yellow sun that has turned red.
Huh.
And it's supposed he kind of compared it to shooting it like Lord of the Rings, where each of the movies is close to 3 hours long and released 1 year apart. Honestly, I would have seen that, and I was totally ready to see something like that in comparison to Man of Steel and Batman v Superman as the sequel.
Okay.
I totally would, because we need Superman to come back in a big bad way.
Yeah.
I'm still a fan of Superman, almost even more so than Batman, because Batman tends to get has been getting all the geeks side lately, but that's also probably partly Christopher Nolan's, I don't want to say fault, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Speaking of Marvel Land, are you following anything concerning the Hulk?
Not really. I think we did. Did we just talk about this?
No. This is in comics.
Oh, okay.
There is a character that was recently introduced as the Totally Awesome Hulk.
Okay.
And we finally have his secret identity, apparently.
Ah.
Are you familiar with a character by the name of Amadeus Cho?
The fourth smartest person in the world?
Sure.
That's what he's described. He actually describes himself as that.
Okay. He's the new Hulk.
Okay.
And he will be the first Korean-American lead character.
Nice.
So, there you go.
Alrighty.
Meh.
Okay, here we go. One more thing. Terminator Genesis has actually outgrossed Mad Max Fury Road.
What?
Yeah, I read this, and it's probably going to generate a sequel.
Yep.
Motherfucker.
But I heard Genesis was awful.
It tanked in the U.S. It was huge in China.
Yep.
Oh.
And thank you, China. You've made us you've made us a whole ton of great products out in the assembly lines, but you also released a demon onto cinema screens everywhere.
But apparently, Mad Max Fury Road was not permitted to show in China, even though apparently it's huge on bootleg.
Makes sense.
But Genesis made up $420 million, so they're actually looking at continuing the trilogy.
Huh?
No, just no. Let it. Well, if you're gonna bring Terminator back, just bring back James Cameron. I'll get behind a movie by James Cameron, also written by James Cameron.
I'm done with Terminator. I have been for years.
But otherwise, I don't even want to hear a mention of it.
Well, I guess that brings us to our last two actual stories then.
Yep, I have my shit that should not be.
All right.
I'm wondering if they line up.
We'll see.
All right, our last two are Force Friday was a thing.
Yep.
And it was awesome.
Oh my god. I wish I had more money.
There are remote control BB-8s. There are Master Replica Black Series Kylo Ren lightsabers.
There's a flying Millennium Falcon. I want it so bad.
Yeah,
I saw it
it's
the other day.
Freaking cool.
There's a flying X-Wing.
Although the BB-8 one is what really got me. Okay, look. If anyone is out there, and I mean anyone, is looking to buy me a Christmas present, look no further, because that BB-8 is unreal. I still don't know how they're doing it.
I actually read up on that, and I'm not going to tell you.
Good. I don't want to know, because, quite frankly, it's so magical, I don't want to know until I've seen the movie.
Yeah, I remember a long podcast ago, we talked about the build your own lightsaber.
Yes.
And I saw it at Walmart. And I'm like, is it worth $40? It just might. It's just like any kind of lightsaber you possibly want to build, you can do it with this son of a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was during a time when they were making fun of Kylo Ren's tri-blade lightsaber.
Yeah.
It's
cross-guard.
Yeah, you want a tri-blade? You want a 4-blade? You want a 5-blade? You want to make this thing fucker spin? You can do anything you want!
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that now.
Yep.
Do you want to build a freaking menorah lightsaber? Well, go ahead and shalom.
You can.
I shouldn't be laughing.
Well, prepare to not laugh anymore, friend.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're up against our shits that should not be.
You go first, guys. You go first. I mean,
Alright.
no, actually, you've been saying how horrible this thing is all day.
Uh-huh.
I will reveal mine first.
Alright, go for it.
I hope to God I'm not stealing your thunder. Nickelodeon's 90s Nicktoons getting a live-action animation hybrid film.
The fuck?
Yep. Basically going to bring together it will bring together the likes of Rugrats, Angry Beavers, Hey Arnold, Rocco's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy, and more for some kind of project, crossover project akin to Lego Movie or Space Jam.
Alright, look. If you can pull this off, cool.
You know they
But
can.
that's some thin ice you are treading.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very, very big lake to cross, my friends.
Nickelodeon. Quick question. When did you sell your soul to Satan? Because, our first shit that should not be on this end is the fact that there is a Broadway-bound SpongeBob SquarePants musical.
World premiere in Chicago. Yes.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Just wow.
I think I'm just going to stick to Gravity Falls from here on out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they make the big budget live action version of that.
But yeah, it
Oh,
will...
please, don't jinx it.
I'm not jinxing it, I'm just telling truths.
Shut up. Let me have my moment.
This thing will be running in 2016 at Chicago's Oriental Theater.
Alright.
And...
Well, you know,
Yeah.
they made an off-Broadway version of Evil Dead, and apparently it was pretty damn good, so
Yeah, I heard that too.
They also did Spider-Man.
that didn't do so hot.
No.
Okay, what's
Okay.
the big one?
Well,
Lay on me, brother.
today- Well, let's just... Okay, so, last Saturday,
We were actually we were just kind of kicking back after doing our first episode of Comtrack with me.
Okay.
And afterward, I just decided to make some supper and turn on a little something, and I actually found a copy of The Death of Superman Lives: What Happened.
Okay.
and it was a fascinating documentary.
Oh yeah. And we were really towards the end we were really awestruck at some of the decisions and ideas that went behind it, because this was made at a time before movies that were made for comic book geeks never read any of the comics.
Oh yeah, I remember
So-
Kevin Smith's stories involving
Yeah.
Joel Silver, the giant fucking spider and the polar bear, voiced by Hulk Hogan.
Oh, there's so much more to it. I highly recommend checking it out. But we were really aghast by it.
And
but
then I opened Facebook.
Oh no.
and we found an article that had to be read to be believed.
Because after this, I needed alcohol.
Yep.
I couldn't have alcohol because I had to bike home.
Because we couldn't take the amount of absurdity coming from the documentary and this article. Read the headline, John.
Tommy Wiseau wants to direct the Fantastic Four sequel. Because of course.
I got nothing.
I know. I don't understand.
I just remember there's a friend of mine, or a Facebook friend of mine, who is a pornographic actress. Mm-hmm. And she was trying to do something more legitimate. Mm-hmm. And she even casted a pilot starring Tommy Wiseau. And she went she went to do the pilot, and everyone seemed very nice to her, and she seemed to do a good job. And then the director says, we're actually going to recast your part. And she's asked why, and she says, because Tommy found out you do porn. And he doesn't want to be involved in that industry at all. And I actually
What were you doing in the room, you fuck?
Well, I basically said, I told her, don't worry, don't feel bad about it. At least you escaped being in a Tommy Wiseau pilot. And she went, yeah, that is true. Tommy Wiseau wants to do a Fantastic Four 2 movie.
Yes. To the new crappier one. Not the Tim Story stuff that actually has that guilty pleasure charm to it.
Or the Roger Corman version.
No. None of the new soulless, crappy, boring ass shit. Okay,
I'm really not angry about this, guys, because there's no way in hell he's going to do it.
It doesn't seem so, because the article is about him saying he wants to do it.
Yeah.
But still, the implication of he wants to freaking do it.
He wants to do anything that would actually get him a director spot again. He's known for one movie, and it's so bad that even Rocky Horror Picture Show goes, dude, seriously.
Look, it turns out a couple of our friends had not, and including John's dad here, had not experienced the I'm going to coin a term for this movie, nega opus. Not magnum or mega opus, but nega opus of The Room. Mm-hmm. Because this movie is a movie that was so bad when I watched it and was done and over with, I felt I went through the Stargate in 2001 in reverse. That's what it was. It was a movie that was so bad that changed the way I look at movies. That is beyond a miracle.
Well, you can always say, at least I didn't make The Room, or I can make better than The Room. There's a book that I've owned called The Prisoner of the Horned Helmet, and it's literally the worst novel I've ever read in my life. It is just horrendous. It's a fantasy book on crack. And I've kept a copy of this thing just so I can say, at least whatever I write will be better than Prisoner of the Horned Helmet. So
Maybe so. But I'm telling you, watching the movie is a constant reminder of what a movie should not and cannot be. It's a unfathomable insult to what films are. Not what they can be, but are.
Yeah.
I mean, because I've been through the experience once, and I had to sit through it again today.
Ugh.
To go through it twice is... now I feel like I'm a Vietnam War veteran. Or, actually, no, I'm a World War II veteran going back to Korea. It was... Wow. There's only been one time in my life that I was ever tempted to actually take up drinking. And that was my first screening of The Room.
Now, remember, because Fantastic Four was so bad, Fox is going to be probably pretty desperate if they're going to want to find somebody.
See, The Simpsons have been making fun of how bad and low their standards have since the 90s, and so have like several other cartoons. If this is the route that they're going to take, I don't want that kind of a joke to become true. You know what? Why don't you actually read the quote that Tommy gave to Cinema Blend?
I quote.
And do your best impersonation, too.
I told you, I saw this Fantastic Four. I'm not being critical. Let me put it this way. I like it. I did enjoy it, number one. Number two, it's not too bad. They didn't call me. That's all I want to say, and I rest my case. That's all I can tell you. Good response in Europe, though. That's my understanding. But it's too bad they didn't call me. That's my point. Maybe there's a sequel, you know? Maybe your article just gets me the job. Who knows what will happen?
Yikes.
Wow.
So that's the big bomb of the day, and that's why when we started the podcast, why I was feeling just a little woozy.
Our souls are a bit shattered right now.
Yeah.
You're suffering a touch of PTSD.
Yep.
You think?
And to segue into our topic for today, I also last night to do a little research for this podcast, I actually sat down and watched the 2 Kevin Smith movies that I had on me that I had not seen yet, and one of them was Tusk. That shit freaked me out, man. I saw nothing but walruses. What?
I have not seen it yet.
Oh, Dan, you're in for a show.
You're in for a treat, my friend.
Because Jesus Christ, I mean, I knew for a fact that movie came from one of his podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it, I'm like, where the fuck did this happen, man?
All right, guys, can you hold on? You talk amongst yourselves for a second. I have to use the facilities, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
It's good that I actually have 2 other co-hosts right now because I can do this. I shall return.
All right,
The show
go for
must
it,
go
Ringo.
on.
But yeah, so tell me why so.
He makes me cry. We actually, right afterwards, there was this thing that I saw a friend of mine showed me a while back, and I showed it to you. It's a little mini series that he does on YouTube called Tommy Explains It All, which is really, to say that it's false advertising is an understatement of the universe. And we watched the very first episode, which is the only one that I've bothered to see because I don't want to see anymore. And it was about how, and I just can't believe I'm using this in a sentence, he tries to draw, poorly albeit, comparisons to The Room to Orson Welles' Citizen Kane.
It's an experience because you have to sit through it, and then he goes from comparing The Room to Citizen Kane to then telling us that he always disagreed with his teachers, which actually explains a lot. And then he goes on to talk about the fact that there could be life on Mars. I mean, this guy's fucking weird.
Look, if there's any listener out there, any at all, I really want to get in contact with you. Please do so. Like, talk to us on our Twitter page. And
no, like the prodigal son, I have returned.
Okay, but if there's anyone out there, contact us on our Twitter page or our Facebook page, whatever, any way you can. And I want to know if you can speak with so.
Because we need a translation. Stat.
Even if you're a linguistics expert, because I've talked to a couple already, showed them that video, they can't pinpoint his accent. If you can pinpoint it for us with, expertise, or if you have like a high-tech computer program, sort of like Batman's, please let us know, because there's like 1 or 2 nights in my life where I've lost sleep over it.
Okay, so I think we'll put a pin in that.
Yes, please. Again, anyone out there, anyone, tell us.
It's okay, Tim. It's okay. We'll get through this. Because now it's time to get on to tonight's episode.
Yay!
Yay! Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
Man, what
A man from New Jersey.
Yep.
Man, what can't we say about this guy?
He is the quintessential independent filmmaker.
And he is not a jellyfish.
Okay. No. What?
Sorry, I think the Wiseau is rubbing off on him.
He's not a jellyfish, you know?
I did
You're
not
tearing me
rape her.
apart, Kevin.
I did not rape her. Oh, hi.
I'm not even supposed to be on this show today.
Anyway, so let's first off, how do we first get introduced to Kevin Smith?
Well, I can actually pinpoint that right away. The first Kevin Smith movie I ever saw was Dogma.
Okay.
And it came at a time in my life where I was still trying to figure out how I felt. Sorry. Where I was feeling where I was trying to figure out how I felt about spirituality and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And so my dad said, "Here, watch this." And we did. And ever since then, I have just kind of fell in love with his oeuvre, I guess you could say.
Okay. You want to go next, Tim?
Why don't you go, Dan? Because mine's a little long.
Okay. Well, I first became aware of him because of a news article in Newsweek. They were talking about movie censorship. Mm-hmm. And the original cut of Clerks, when it was put on Sundance, was actually given an NC-17 rating because of the word fuck. And that was the only reason, because of the swearing.
Right.
So it basically talked about whether the MPA was actually useful or what could be done. And Kevin Smith mentioned, Scarface had more fucks than we do, and it got an R rating.
Good point.
Yeah. And then I worked in a video store for about a year back in the mid-'90s, and this is about the time when Kevin Smith started coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a copy of Clerks. I was like, oh, cool. And I went and I took it out and took it to my friend Andrew's house, who is another filmmaker. And we watched it on his little television using his camera actually as the VCR.
Mm-hmm.
It actually recorded on VHS tapes. And we watched it, and we're like, oh my god, this is our life. Because we've all met that fucking customer. It's like, where's your new releases? Or
how much is this thing?
Or the porn guy. We had a porn section in that video store, and I'm just like, oh god, that is the porn guy.
You had a porn stash?
We had a porn stash, and I just remember, we'd have those guys who come in every Tuesday and rent our new porns, and return them like 3 hours later, and we flip coins to see who boxed them up again, because this motherfucker did not wash his hands.
Mm-hmm. This is why I have you in my contacts. One of the things that most people don't know about me is I like to give people nicknames in my contacts. So whenever I get a call, whenever I get a call, it's from like some weird thing. Like I got a buddy back home who has the nickname Strudel Boy. And yours, this is why I have named yours not Kevin Smith.
Well, I know John and I have threatened to go cosplay as Jay and Silent Bob before.
You guys need to, dude.
Yeah.
You are perfect.
And then I didn't see Mallrats when it came out.
Very few people did, as I recall.
Yeah. Actually, I think the next movie I saw by him was Chasing Amy. And I really enjoyed that. I was like, wow, this guy can really actually write. And
the second one I saw was Clerks, actually.
Okay, and then the first one I actually saw in the theaters was Dogma. I went with Andrew and another one of our friends, BJ, and we loved it. It was really, really good. And after that, I've seen most of his films. I even saw Jersey Girl for some god-awful reason.
Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad.
I haven't seen Zack and Miri make a porno yet.
I haven't either, and I haven't seen Cop Out.
I actually watched Zack and Miri last night in preparation for this.
Well, you wasted your time.
Yeah. Well, it was a nice flick. I mean,
Okay.
it's gross out, but it's really sweet.
Yeah, that's fair.
That sounds like a Kevin Smith movie.
Yep.
I got introduced to him. It was actually because of Superman, the Superman Reborn series or Superman Lives story that he had. Because I found that on YouTube, and I was like, "Wait, what the hell is this?" And it was a 2-part thing, and I just drank it up, and I saw a bunch of all these other things that were clips from the first edition of Evening with Kevin Smith, and I just watched all of them, and I hunted down as much as I could. Mm-hmm. Eventually, I found the DVDs, and then I was like, and I watched pretty much all of the Evening with Kevin Smith, and they're just freaking phenomenal.
They are, which is amazing considering he doesn't talk in the movies.
Nope. Yeah, I know, because he just never shuts up. But you know what? I don't care, because all of the stories that he was telling were just one amazing story right after another. And as a matter of fact, I kind of used that kind of storytelling in order to help me tell my stories, or my quirky little stories in life that I've been experiencing. Because when you're a filmmaker, you run into some weird shit.
It's true.
Yeah, so he's kind of the guy who helps me or at least the one I think of to articulate, especially when I'm talking to like, street level people, that have that kind of colloquial kind of speech pattern or syntax rather.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I kind of do it. And then I was like, well, the dude has gone on and on and on about Clerks. Maybe I should actually go watch it. So I got a copy, watched that, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And eventually I tracked down pretty much all of the View Askew universe movies. But the one that really hit me hard was Chasing Amy. Because I was in a situation very similar to that. And I will never forget the moment where Ben Affleck's character, the truth is revealed, so to speak, after that song that Joey sings on the stage.
Right.
And that look on his face, I'm like, oh, dude, I feel it. And of course, the way that he breaks it up with Jason Lee, starting to clap with that dumbass smile, I thought was like, dude, thank you. You made one of the most painful moments in my life a little less painful.
Well, I think Kevin Smith is one of the generation of filmmakers who learned not from film school.
Yeah.
He's like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. They learned by watching other movies. I mean, sure that Kevin Smith didn't go to filmmaking school, but I don't think he ever finished.
No, he never finished. He only made it through like 6 months or something like that.
Well, actually, they didn't even go to a film class. I think they just enlisted in a college that had a film program in order to get a student ID to get the discount to use the equipment.
No, actually, it was an actual film course that took place in Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But yeah, I was talking with Tim about this a couple nights ago. I learned more about filmmaking from the commentaries and the documentaries on these DVDs and Blu-rays than I think you could ever learn in the filmmaking classes. I mean,
it's partially true.
Well, the lighting and the sound and such, I think you still have to go to class for.
Well, it's not just that, but also, well, it's not just that. It's also the etiquette that goes into a film set, because I always did like, and I know this kind of sounds stupid, especially if there are any fellow filmmakers out here listening. Filmmaking really is like waging a war. I mean, I often compare acting in a movie to being a soldier in the trenches of World War I, because you're out there away from home with. Sometimes you're with good provisions, depending on the budget and the scale of the movie and how well the production takes care of you, to literally like the basic needs, and if you're lucky. And it's very boring for very long periods of time where there's absolutely nothing to do. And then out of nowhere, when least expected, because filmmaking is probably one of the most unexpected kind of businesses out there, you're suddenly in an intense situation where everything needs to go right, and you're essentially kind of fighting for not for your life, but for your reputation and for your job. So, and that all that happens within just like a few minutes, and then it's all over, and you're back to kind of a state where you can breathe again, and then it's boring again.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on and on like that until the war is over or the production is wrapped.
One of the few quotes I actually like from George Lucas about making the Clone Wars, making Attack of the Clones. A movie's never finished; it just escapes.
And knowing George Lucas, actually, that makes sense.
Because there's always something else you want to do. I mean, I have the same problem with my writing. Is it's like there's always something you want to keep poking at. There's always that last shot with a chisel on the marble. But if you keep doing it, you're just going to break the piece.
This is why I prefer the quote, art is never finished, it's just abandoned. But it's also abandoned and then presented with flaws, but those flaws are also embraced by the people that adore it so much.
Sorry. So I say we go through each of the movies real quick and just do some cliff notes.
All right.
Clerks.
Well, Clerks actually was made with money from an insurance policy.
Yes.
Because Kevin Smith's parents and their car, and actually it was Kevin Smith's car and Jason Mewes' car, were destroyed in a very rare New Jersey flood. Kevin Smith has related this story a couple times, including the rather tragic and hilarious story of all these dead cats.
Yeah.
Because his father kept feeding them.
Yep.
And then when the flood hit, basically these cats couldn't escape, and they ended up like drowning and floating into other neighbors' houses.
Yeah, it's kind of dark.
I still have this image of a cat stuck in a one of those fences, those chainmail fences.
Oh, God.
With its paw kind of sticking out towards you, as if to say, "Why didn't you save me?"
Oh, Christ.
That's just brutal, man. Especially for you as a cat owner.
Yep.
Yeah,
I have 3
and I love cats, and it was one of those situations where everyone kept calling Kevin Smith's dad to come remove the dead cats, and he's like, "It's not my cats, I just fed them."
Dude, that kind of makes them your cats.
Yeah. That's how they got the original money up. Also, Kevin Smith had to sell his beloved comic book collection.
Mm-hmm. Although he got it back with Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash.
Yes.
At least a good majority of it, anyway.
Mm.
Let's see. So it was shown the first time at the IFFM in New York.
Mm-hmm.
Same place where he saw Slacker for the first time.
Yep, movie Changed His Life by Richard Linklater.
Yep. Which I have seen, and yes, I can understand why it would have changed his life.
I haven't seen it, but I've only seen little bits of it, and even in those scant moments, I can totally see why he looked at it and like, dude, I can make a movie.
Mm-hmm. And it tells the tale of a couple of guys who are stuck in a convenience store for the whole day, while one of them has the worst day ever.
Yeah.
So, question for the two of you: favorite scene in Clerks?
Ooh.
Because I'm just going to steal quickly right away before either of you do.
Okay.
It's that Star Wars conversation. I'm sorry, but, dude, because I remember showing the movie to my sister, and she actually, when that conversation started going, she actually kind of sat back in her seat in disbelief. And she's like, wait, they're talking about Star Wars? I like Star Wars. This is awesome. And when it was over, she kind of looked over at me and is like, "Did they just have a philosophical conversation about Star Wars? People do that, you know." And I'm like, "Yeah, isn't it awesome?"
For me, it was actually the one scene where Silent Bob spoke. Which the funny thing was, it wasn't actually supposed to be Silent Bob doing the line; it was supposed to be Jay.
Jay, yeah.
But he was so toked up that day.
Yep.
Which is really funny considering that an off-duty cop was a member of the cast.
Yeah, he was a narc.
Yeah, he basically gave the line, not all women would bring lasagna to you at work. Most would just cheat on you. And it was just really touching. Just like Silent Bob's like reaching out to someone who needed some help, didn't know exactly what they were doing, and just, laying down the advice. I like that.
See, now I wish I had gone just before you, because mine is so far less profound. My favorite scene is the scene where Caitlin comes back to the Quick Stop after meeting up with Dante.
Mm-hmm.
She's talking to Randall. There are 2 things that I really, really love about that scene that are very Kevin Smith. One, there was a joke that I didn't get before, where Randall says, "We both eat Chinese."
I don't get it.
In the movie, Caitlin is going to marry an Asian design major.
Ah, okay.
And Randall is eating some Chinese food. So he makes the joke that they both eat Chinese.
Gotcha. I thought it was going even worse and say that, just because Chinese is supposedly made with cat, so he eats pussy.
Yeah, I didn't think of it like that. I was thinking dicks.
I have a lot more disturbing thoughts than you do. Sorry, man.
Well, remember, there's also chicks with dicks in the movie.
This is true. And the other thing about that scene is that if you look, there is actually a copy, probably Walt Flanagan's, of The Dark Knight Returns on the counter.
Get out! I did not notice that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Dude, I gotta look. Oh man, I gotta pop in my Clerks DVD again and
Yep.
confirm this.
But yeah, you gotta check it out. It's pretty fantastic.
All right.
Sweet.
All right. Mallrats.
Mallrats. Seth Green as Jason as Jay. It was possible.
That was almost a thing.
Yeah. No, basically, Kevin Smith has made such a splash at Sundance that I think it was Universal or Paramount, one of the two.
Yeah, it was Universal.
Universal's like, let's give you some money to make a film. And he made what he was trying to do was his love letter to John Hughes films. Mm-hmm. And it didn't work so hot.
It did not turn out like that at all.
No.
Yeah, plus, it honestly, it kind of read, and this is how they pitched it, as Clerks in a mall.
Yeah, and it's not.
I mean, as a matter of fact, when you watch it, or at least when you watch Clerks, you can tell that this had absolutely no budget.
Yeah.
And Mallrats definitely had a budget.
Yeah.
But it's a good film. If you take it on its own merit, it's actually pretty damn funny.
It's not bad. I mean, again, there's some moments that I really love, and the others that I'm like, meh. But you know what? It's better than me saying that there's a couple of moments where I actually hate, because there wasn't any moments in the movie that I really hated. Just some that I felt were lackluster and some that I thought were really funny.
Yeah, it was still he was still a filmmaker trying to find his way.
Mm-hmm.
And you just when you're suddenly given you've made one low budget film and suddenly you're given a huge amount of money, it can be very difficult to step up to the plate.
Not to mention that he was kind of caught with his pants down when it performed poorly,
mm-hmm.
because it's sort of like the hit rock band that makes 40 million albums, and then their next one only sells 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is commonly referred to as the sophomore slump.
Mm-hmm.
Although it does have some very redeeming qualities, especially running gags like the stink palm.
How to have sex in a very uncomfortable spot. The back of a Volkswagen?
And let's also not forget that it had the best Stan Lee cameo before any Stan Lee cameo.
True.
He actually got Stan Lee to talk about the Thing's junk.
Nope.
Dude, I mean, really? Can you imagine, man? Wow. Just to not only meet Stan Lee, your idol as a child,
mm-hmm.
but to have him appear at length in a movie that you're making.
Yes.
That's just out of this world, man.
Mallrats also gave me one of my favorite jokes when it comes to crossing over Star Wars and View Askew. Because I remember there was one day where we went up to each other and just started giving bastardized quotes from each movie that crossed over the two. And one of my favorites is, "I can't believe you stink palmed Vader." No, Luke. I am your... Oh, fuck.
Oh, my God. But yeah, basically, just quick, because those who don't know, Universal did not trust Jason Mewes, who was still having a bit of drug problem at the time, mm-hmm. so they tried to cast Seth Green.
Yep.
And thankfully, nothing was ever shot besides a couple screen tests. But from that point onward, Jason Mewes was going to be Jay.
Yep.
And
yep. Thank God.
Next film, basically...
Wait. Before we do go on to Chasing Amy, favorite scene in Mallrats?
I don't know why, but that stupid magic eye picture.
It's a schooner!
Shut up!
And the look of sheer delight on his face at the end when they're going through, like, finally, so-and-so did get to see the magic eye picture. I do? He looked so happy.
It turns out that magic eye picture that he's looking at isn't even really a magic eye picture.
Yeah, I think I've heard that somewhere.
And there was one that I saw once where it was a magic eye picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it said, the caption said, "It's a sailboat." It was really a shark.
I think the worst magic eye someone ever caught me with was a magic eye of Goatsy. So I'm just like, I'm crossing my eyes, I'm getting ready, because I can see magic eyes really easy. I'm like, catch on that. Oh, God!
Yeah.
Giant gaping asshole. Yay! Just when I need to see. Thanks that to my friend Wes, who always sends me the weirdest shit.
Hey, what are friends for?
Exactly. All right.
But yeah, favorite scene in Mallrats? Doobie Snacks.
You need to turn those frowns upside down. Also, the fact that what's his name? I should know this, but
Jason
I'm
Lee?
blanking. No, Brian O'Halloran.
Yeah.
Brian O'Halloran plays a role in every movie as a member of the Hicks family.
Yes.
This time it's not Gil Hicks. It's
Oh man, I forget. I know exactly what you're talking about. He appears as that newscaster.
no, that's in Dogma.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's one of the
he's one of
participants of the dating game.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been a while since I've seen, because I did binge watch the View Askewniverse, but I think that was like 7 months ago.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too.
Yeah.
But,
And yourself?
Oh God, it was. I really loved it when Stan Lee just nonchalantly kind of talks about all the all the questions that we fanboys have asked ourselves on the internet about it.
This is before the internet actually asked these questions.
Yeah, well, even before the internet was still asking these questions.
Yeah.
That's how big that they were. But as much as I love those, I gotta really love. And I know this sounds really stupid, but I just enjoyed Jay and Silent Bob's tribute to Chuck Jones cartoons. All of them were just beyond stupid, and I also really dug it when Silent Bob flew through the air as Bat Bob.
Where does he get these wonderful toys?
So yeah, they're dumb and totally like self-wank off stuff that Kevin made just for himself. But you know what? I don't care.
I also love the fact that Kevin Smith got really offended by the fact that he wanted to put in a joke about Silent Bob masturbating to Joey Lauren Adams, and he was going to come in her air by accident. And one of the producers like, "This is awful. This is horrible. This will never work. That's so offensive." And he's like, "I'm sorry." And then like 6 months later, something about Mary happened, and that was like the keystone of the entire damn movie. He's like, "Motherfucker."
Oh, there was another thing in there. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the fact that you have the flying silent bat is the beginnings of the very next movie, actually.
Oh yeah,
Bloodman and Chronic,
Yep. Yeah, that's right.
which are introduced in Chasing Amy
yep, starring Ben Affleck and Jason Lee.
once again.
And Ben Affleck actually had appeared in Mallrats as one of his first major roles.
Yes, as Holden McNeil.
Yeah,
And-
well, it is in Chasing Amy, not no.
Right. Sorry. In Mallrats, he was Dana something else.
Who's your favorite new kid? Call me Donnie.
And Chasing Amy, as I recall, was it was actually just a few votes short, at least to Kevin's measure, from being nominated for Best Original Screenplay that year. Because again, I think I was reading Roger Ebert's review of it, and he described the Kevin Smith's direction as very clumsy and clunky and simple and kind of boring. But he said that also didn't matter because the script and characters are so strong. Especially Joey Lauren Adams.
Yeah. Basically, it was Kevin Smith coming back, licking his wounds, taking a much, much smaller budget, shooting it around Red Bank, and just wanting to try something new. And he was like, okay, I know I can write. Let's do something.
Also, Jon Stewart was going to play the role of Ben Affleck.
What?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Harvey Weinstein actually wanted Jon Stewart, as in of The Daily Show,
Yeah.
to play Holden McNeil.
Was it because he was like hot in the 90s in the MTV or something?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Oh my god.
And I think Kevin responded like, "No,
I
I wrote this movie for these specific people that I had in mind." And I think Harvey Weinstein said, "I'll distribute the movie," and I think they also said, "We'll give you $200,000," which is dirt cheap.
Oh yeah, that's chump change.
And he said, "Deal." Well, at least I think he gave him $200,000 right off the bat to finance the movie, and he said if he liked it, he'll buy it and distribute it. And that was the deal. Scott Mosier wasn't very happy.
No, he was pissed off.
He's like, dude, what the fuck, man? Mallrats had like I think like an $8 million budget.
5.
Oh, okay, $5 million budget. Even so, I think he, and I quote, he was happier than a pig in shit. It was the problem. We just throw some money at it and problem solved. With Chasing Amy, he's like, dude, we got a problem. And Scott Mosier just looks at him like, not my fault. You asked for $200,000, asshole.
Oh, come on. We made Clerks for $11,000.
Dude, that's barely a movie.
Yep.
You guys listen to a lot more Smodcasts than I have.
I've listened to every episode.
I just listened to, pretty much know all the stories from Evening With by heart by now.
Yeah. I listened to Fat Man on Batman and Babylon, Hollywood Babylon, and Education.
Yeah. So, favorite scene in Chasing Amy? I know this one's probably going to be the hardest of all the bunch because there's a lot of
I'll leave you guys to the poignant one. I love the scene at the beginning where they had the black man fake shooting Kevin. He shot Ben Affleck?
Oh, Hooper. I love Hooper. No, he shot Jason Lee.
Okay, Jason Lee. And everyone kept saying, "No, you're not an anchor. You're a tracer."
Your mother's a tracer.
And just sometimes you want to see some nice, decent porn, and sometimes you just want to see a chick blowing a horse.
My favorite part is honestly the montage. Because it's just fun. It's the ideal relationship in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Now, Kevin Smith got a lot of flack from like the LBGT community for that movie.
Yeah,
and I totally understand because in the movie, the lesbians in the movie are kind of portrayed as the lesbianism is their main character. So, and I see the movie as extremely dated because that was of the 90s.
Yeah.
But he's it's not about that. I mean, granted, yes, they do have a point. But
he made a very good point.
The movie isn't about lesbianism in itself. It's about love between two people.
Exactly.
And the humanity behind it. Mm-hmm. So, it's kind of okay to let it go, just because it's not exactly what the story is about. Granted, it would have been nice to have that sort of thing, because we all know that Kevin is absolutely pro-gay and totally fine with the gay community. I mean,
oh yeah,
his big brother is.
Yeah, his big brother is.
He's even said that if he was gay, he would be like one of the happiest bears in the world.
That's right. So in that sense, I don't see anything wrong with that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is definitely steeped in the politics of its day.
Yeah,
which is just a small thing.
Favorite scene?
This one was tough because watching Chasing Amy, I couldn't not think of a relationship that I was in a few years ago. But if I really had to boil it down to one essence of a scene, it would probably be Ben Affleck's confession in the Ring, because that speech was so heartfelt, and I felt was so close to how I was feeling at those times.
Mm-hmm.
That it just hit me hard at home. Although I was really angry at how that scene ended. As soon as she runs back to him, I was like, what?
Exactly.
Excuse? Okay, because you ask any lesbian, that'll never happen. And I know this is supposed to move the plot forward and to get Kevin's.
Well, like they said, it wasn't so much.
You
even said it yourself. It's not about lesbianism. It's about the love of two people together.
Exactly. So again, at first, just watching it for the very first time was like, no.
I see what you're saying.
No. But as the movie went along, I'm like, okay. And even though I really vehemently disagreed with it, by the end of the movie, I watched it again, and I understood. This is what he's trying to say, and even though that it's kind of a unrealistic move, and their portrayal of that kind of characters in politics is unrealistic, so to speak, it still gets the really good messages across.
Yeah.
So, but that scene really hit me hard because you have no idea how tough it is to fall for a chick who is amazing in every single way and has changed your life for the better. Because I always say to her to this day that, dude, thank you. You changed me and made me a better person than I was before I met you.
Believe me, I know.
And cause
As do I.
It was just that one little thing. The fact that I had a dick was standing in the way of the most amazing woman I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Tore me to bits.
I just wanted to point out that Kevin Smith is such a strong writer in Chasing Amy. And when he writes with Silent Bob sells Holden,
Yeah.
and Holden get it so fucking wrong. Because it's a recurring theme, apparently, is that Kevin Smith characters can't handle the fact that they're people they loved before had sex.
Yeah.
And enjoyed sex. Mm-hmm. You know, in Clerks. 37? My girlfriend fucks 37 cocks in a row.
I just want a pin that just has the number 37.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Silent Bob is telling Holden, don't hold what she's done against her in the past. And Holden can't get past it, and he wants to have a threesome with Banky and Lauren Adams' character.
That's the other thing. When I watch that scene, I'm like, Holden, you idiot!
Yeah.
You idiot!
Yeah, and then when she says, I love you, but I won't be your whore, I'm just like, great acting right there.
Yes.
And it took him he did finally understand it, but it took him a while.
Yeah.
After he'd already broken the relationship.
Oh, and that's actually a really rare thing to actually see a character grow in that manner in a movie. Not even in a mainstream movie, but even in an indie movie, that's kind of rare.
Mm-hmm.
So, but holy shit, Holden, you were a moron because you freaking had a lesbian fall for you, and you threw it away just because you couldn't get over something that she did in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And you can acknowledge that, yeah, it was a mistake, but, dude, do not ruin this, man. Do you have any idea how many people I would kill to be in your situation right now? Mm-hmm. I would massacre a school of orphans for that. Gladly so.
Morphins bound for the seminary, yeah. So anyway, John, what was your favorite scene?
I already said it was the montage.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think we should just move on to Dogma.
Alrighty.
Dogma is about a woman who is tasked by the voice of God to go and stop a couple of angels, played by Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, from entering a church, which is being dedicated by a priest played by George Carlin.
Yes, and the Buddy
Perfect
Christ.
casting.
Yes, I have now seen the Buddy Christ.
Yeah, I saw that back in '99, I think, when Dogma had just come out, and it's been there it's been at the Secret Stash ever since. What can you say about this movie? Another strong performance in the writing.
Oh, yeah.
Was Kevin Smith basically exploring his own Catholicism and his own faith and religion, and got some really good casting. This was really the first movie where Jay and Silent Bob were main characters.
Yeah.
They were all the way through the film. And this was actually was a script that was written before Clerks and Chasing Amy.
Yes. It was, in fact, at the end of Clerks, you can see Jay and Silent Bob will return in Dogma, which, if you think about it, is something that the Marvel Universe has totally hawked from that.
Yeah.
Well, I think I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know if Kevin has ever mentioned this in any of his podcasts. You guys would probably know better than I, but it sounds like a ripoff of James Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bit.
It's more like that.
But yeah,
Well, it's a classic trope, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess
even-
he was just using one of those notes.
Yeah, one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies, Sword and the Sorcerer, has Taran will return in so-and-so at next movie, you know.
right.
And it finally made that movie like 25 years later.
Like I said, this movie helped me figure out my spirituality, which was basically the way Rufus explains it, the 13th Apostle.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a really good idea to have ideas. Because you can change an idea. A belief is harder. People die for it. People go to war for it.
Yeah.
So that's where I finally laid to rest my belief in a loving deity or any deity at all.
You see, I still believe in that.
That's fair.
But I also believe that he's pretty much a hands-off God.
That's also fair.
Because
The
a lot of the
absent
shit, a lot of the shit that we pray about is shit we do to ourselves.
Yep.
Pretty much. See, I think Orson Welles once said, I do believe in God, but I don't pray because I don't want to bore him.
I love it.
But, you know, I actually saw Dogma after I pretty much figured out my own spirituality. Because I grew up in a Lutheran church and school, and I was there for about the first 10 years of my life. Preschool, kindergarten, and from 1st to 8th grade.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was definitely into the faith, but...
you were indoctrinated.
Yeah. But it was in a school where the classes were no bigger than 23. Never knew that a class could be bigger than that, let alone in a public high school. When I went to high school, it threw me. It was the biggest juxtaposition when I found out that there could be a class of freshmen that was 140. I'm convinced that my freshman year in high school was my midlife crisis, which kind of... it really kind of worries me because that means I'll probably only live to 30. Anyway, that it was in high school where I really started to question everything, because when you go from a private school that's all you've known all your life to a public school where things are open and liberal and, you know, completely neutral and that sort of thing, where you can have atheists and all these different kind of cultures, I didn't know where to turn. And then it wasn't until I really started to meditate in college that I realized, dude, faith is something that needs to be from you. You have to. Faith is about taking an idea or a belief or whatever you want to call it, and choosing to believe in it, even though you admit that you could be wrong. Yeah. That's the problem with most beliefs today, is that we are this dogma, and there's nothing else, and that's the only way to believe in something. And I'm like, no. The only way to believe in something truly is to acknowledge that you may be wrong.
Yeah, nice name drop, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. But you could be wrong. Maybe it's all just black when we die. Maybe it's a completely different form of heaven or hell, or whatever, any angle you want to take from any kind of religious argument that's been said over the centuries. As long as you're willing to admit that you're wrong, and you choose to believe in something anyway, is the idea of what I believe to be real faith. So I have my own personal things that feel right to me, and I know that I could probably be wrong, and I'm cool with, and I'm completely tolerant with, you know, other people. I just say, well, I disagree with you, and this is how I feel.
Yeah.
So I had my spirituality kind of checked out when I saw Dogma, but when I did see it, I was like, dude, this is some really smart ways of looking at the Catholic and the Christian religion on its own. And it was also kind of funny just having, you know, jokes like, you know, no, this guy, no Jesus, brother owes me $13. It's just kind of funny, you know, because it's a comedy. Don't take it too seriously, and not to mention that there's a giant rubber poop monster running
exactly
around.
Yes.
I was about to
don't ever take
I freaking love the Golgothan.
Don't take a movie with a rubber poop monster in it seriously.
Yeah.
Don't. It's a comedy.
Right.
And that also has some really interesting quips about religion.
Mm-hmm.
So, now that we've all gotten that off our chest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Favorite scene?
I did like it when Alan Rickman's first appearance was, because we all have our own kind of interpretation of angels, and his, I just thought, not only was it clever, but it was also really funny, especially when he said, "I don't have any junk." Why do we think? Why does everyone think that there's going to be some kind of sexual interaction with you? Why do you feel like you humans are always going to be sexually assaulted?
I'm about as anatomically correct as a Ken doll.
Then he proceeds to drop his pants and show her.
Exactly.
I thought that was just so completely bizarre, but really, really smart and really funny at the same time.
Yeah.
Say you're the Metatron, and you'll get looked at blankly. Mention something from a Charlton Heston movie, and suddenly everyone's a theologian.
I think my favorite scene was the entire scene with Serendipity. When she first is introduced, the dance-off, the cut scene.
Yes.
Where the Jay and Silent Bob do the theme song to Fat Albert.
Yes.
And then the whole interaction with the poop monster.
Yes.
I mean, that's just funny fucking shit. And very deep. I mean, the whole idea of the Golgothan being from the bowels of condemned criminals, all dripping in the same spot for hundreds of years, concentrated hate and filth.
Yep. Not to mention, he also drops the famous Grant Morrison line from Arkham Asylum: "Not born, shit into existence."
Exactly.
My favorite scene is the scene in the movie's boardroom.
Don't run! Don't run!
Oh my God.
Don't run! Don't run!
That was hilarious.
And he's listing off everyone's
Exactly.
sins, except for the one girl. It's
whole
like,
scene.
but you've lived a good life. But you didn't say God bless you!
That scene is the scene that made me decide, yes, I can see Ben Affleck as Batman. Because that scene would be fucking terrifying.
I thought that was Matt Damon that was the one that was screaming at everybody.
It was.
It was, but Ben Affleck is very calmly just listing off people's sins.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I forgot that. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And you have more skeletons in your closet than this entire party combined.
It was only 12, you psycho piece of shit.
But here's just one. He's your son?
Oh, man. Well, guys, it is going on 12:40. We've been doing this for 2 hours.
Do you want to just go through Jay and Silent Bob and then Clerks 2?
I was actually going to suggest that we we do a two-parter. Because
Oh, wow.
I'll try to see Tusk before next week.
All right.
And
if
I've seen Red State.
I haven't seen Red State.
Oh, good film. Scary.
I need to see Zack and Miri, and I need to see Cop Out.
I also need to see Cop Out. We should
do Cop Out
together. Yeah.
I don't know if I want to see Cop Out.
Neither do I. But
Don't
you know
make
what?
me watch Cop Out.
Neither do I.
I'm gonna watch Cop Out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you guys all seen the Evening with movies?
Oh yeah, we've seen all those.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I like the cut scenes in those where they're like the guys who get locked out of the
Yes.
of the auditorium. So Kevin's like, "Don't worry, we'll save you." Oh, just one more quick thing about Dogma.
Yes.
It actually leads to one of the funniest stories he's ever told in the Evening with Kevin Smith, where he talks about Princeland.
Oh, yes.
You know what?
Because he wanted to use the most beautiful girl in the world by Prince in the scene with Serendipity. So he
it was for Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, actually.
It was?
Yeah, it was for the scene when...
right, when Justice walks into movies.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I forgot.
It's okay. Well, besides, the Princeland thing is definitely worthy of the next episode.
Yeah.
So, but what was the other one that I think we need to bring up? I think we also need to bring up a little bit of Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Oh, Die Hard
Die
with a
Hard.
Vengeance.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the first taste he got of Bruce Willis, which was not a bad taste.
Yes.
Then it went to crap in his mouth.
He quite literally copped out on that one.
Yeah. But yeah, Dogma, great film, really good. I love the fact that that him and Mosier actually went and protested their own film.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, that's one of my all-time favorite stories.
He actually gave me the
original,
video.
the original broadcast that was back in the day. And I loved how the newscasters were totally onto him.
Yeah,
Because they were like they were joined by this man who suspiciously looked like the writer-director Kevin Smith, and it just had him
Kevin
say,
Smith, a New Jersey native.
and he was just like, I don't think it stands for anything good. It's like, well, have you heard anything about the movie? Just a bit, but I've been told it's not good.
How did he get involved with the Westboro Baptist Church again?
That happens with Red State, which will also happen in our next episode.
Oh,
Okay,
wait, he
that's
got
right.
involved with Westboro?
I'll tell you the story.
Oh, that's
Holy
actually,
shit!
That's in one of his evenings with.
Actually, that's Burn in Hell, Kevin Smith.
Okay, yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't hear about this. Okay,
I will tell you the story after we cut, all right?
Okay.
So,
yeah.
And also, one more thing. Kevin Smith has said he will not write Dogma 2.
yes.
Because,
That's fine.
Well, the thing is he's actually afraid to.
Yeah.
I don't blame him, dude. I mean, he got death threats for that
Well, he got
movie.
death threats from Christians for Dogma.
Mm-hmm.
If he did Dogma 2, he said he'd have to touch on Islam,
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
and he would get killed.
Yes, he would. So,
Yikes.
he will not do it.
No.
And you know what? That's totally fine because Dogma does stand on its own.
Yeah.
Although, I wouldn't mind seeing a comic book about the Heavenly Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so because we're doing this as a two-parter, we're not doing a Thou Shalt Not tonight.
Nope.
And so, from all of us here at Radioactive Walrus Entertainment, the Experiment Room, and Dan's Domicile.
Dan's new recording studio.
Ooh!
Yay.
Can't wait to see it. I'm Jonathan Knoll.
And I am Daniel Gill.
And I'm Tim Leifheit. And before we sign off, I just want to give a nice, big, warm welcome to Mr. Kevin Smith and Scott Mosier and all of his associates. Because you guys are the inspiration that made us do this kind of stuff every week in the first place.
If we could only ever get Kevin Smith to come visit BGSU.
Hey, don't... Actually, I ran into a model. I was doing a photo shoot the other day, and I ran into a model who was actually babysat by Kevin Smith himself.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
So, if I can, I will try to pull some strings. And at least see if he can get us to listen to this podcast.
You know,
Because really, we owe him
So
much.
Yeah, we owe him big.
My
And-
God,
and
if we get him
not-
outside of nachos, holy cow.
I mean, he's also the guy that inspired me to do Contract. I mean, his Batman
on Batman?
Yeah, his Batman commentaries I listened to on end over this summer, and got me inspired to do commentaries of my own. Mm-hmm. And not to mention that I really do look at him as his early days starting out as a career as something that is definitely of my own. Because really, if he were to make Clerks in these days, he could have done it for $500 maybe.
Yeah.
So thank you, Kevin Smith.
Yay.
We love you, and we love all of you over at Smodcast. And for all of our listeners out there, you should check out their channels because they got even crazier stories than we do.
Anyway, so enough dick sucking from Tim here.
Yep.
Shit.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I don't know my own strength.
Uh,
Either that or John is really tired.
Anyway, this has been Late Night Taco Delivery.
yes. You may now place your order. Late Night Taco Delivery is performed by Daniel Gill and Jonathan Knoll, and was created by Daniel Gill. New Bizarre opening by Jonathan Knoll. If you have questions, comments, or a suggestion for a future show, drop us a line on Twitter at Radio Walrus Pod. Like Radioactive Walrus Entertainment on our Facebook, or subscribe to our official YouTube channel, Radioactive Walrus. That's Radioactive with a capital R, Walrus with a capital W, and no spaces. Thank you for calling Late Night Taco Delivery. You may now place your orders. This has been a production of Radioactive Walrus Entertainment.
John, what do chickens say?